Okay, Math 6, we are going to be learning about different customary conversions, and customary conversions are different from what the rest of the world uses. Customary is what the United States uses to measure. Now, we're a little silly. We don't use what everyone else uses. So we're going to start with the three different types of measurement. We have weight, we have length, and we have capacity, or what can be filled in something. So let's start with filling out our notes for weight. We have 1 ton is equal to 2,000 pounds. So for example, an elephant usually weighs about 2 tons, okay? Now, we also need to measure something really small with weight, like babies. Babies are measured by ounces. So 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Now let's move on to length. For 1 mile, and we are known as the Mile High City, we are actually about 5,280 feet above sea level. That's why we're known as the Mile High City. We're up in the mountains. So please write in 5,280 feet. Now, another conversion we need to know is how many feet are in yards. So we have 3 feet in 1 yard. For example, if you look at a yardstick, like Miss Johnson usually has, that's about 3 feet. Finally, if you look at a ruler has 12 inches and is 1 foot long. So most rulers are 1 foot long. Finally, we're on to capacity. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and I want you to draw the story on the side of your notes here. So we're going to start in the land of Gallon. And we're going to mark the land of Gallon by a big G. Now, in the land of Gallon, there were 4 beautiful queens. So please put 4 queens in your gallon. And with those 4 queens, they had 2 princesses each. There's a lot of beautiful ladies in this Gallon land. Now, the 2 princesses each had 2 children each. So you're going to have to fit inside each of those princesses 2 children. Now, what this represents is that in 1 gallon, there are 4 quarts, okay? So 1 gallon has 4 quarts, or 4 queens if you like to think about it like that. In 1 quart, there are 2 pints, or 2 princesses. And in 1 pint, 1 princess, there are 2 cups. Now, the only one that's not on there is 1 cup is equal to 8 liquid ounces. Finally, I want you to go down and fill out your notes here. So at the bottom, you'll see your notes say set up, and you want to write in the word proportion. A proportion is also just an equal ratio, so you might want to write that on the side. Second, you want to fill in what you know about that conversion. So what you know about that conversion. Finally, you want to find the scale factor. What are you multiplying or dividing by? And then finally, you want to solve for the unknown part of that proportion. Please take a minute to check and make sure you have all of these notes in your ISN notebook before you move on to the guided practice. So a quick thing to think about. You don't have to say this out loud, but I want you to think about this. Which of these numbers from the length category has symbolism for Denver? So take a second to think about that. If you said 5,280 because we're known as the Mile High City, or 5,280 feet above ground or above sea level, then you are correct. What would be an appropriate unit of measurement for measuring a paper clip? Take a second to think about that. Look at your chart. What would be an appropriate unit? If you said inches for measuring a paper clip, you are correct. And finally, what about a marathon race? Think about what measurement you would use for a marathon race. If you said miles, you are correct. A marathon is 26.2 miles. Now under our guided practice, I'm going to do 3 or 4 problems with you. If you understand this right away and feel comfortable, you can move on to the independent practice. If you don't feel comfortable and you need more help, I will go on and do 2 more problems before you start the independent practice. It's up to you to hit the pause button whenever you need a break to work and try the problem with me. Okay, so please hit the pause button if you need to do the work with me. So let's go to our notes again, and the first thing we want to do is set up your proportion. So first thing I know is that 3 feet equals 1 yard. So I'm going to write that in. Now, I fill in what I know and I have to find the scale factor. Well, to get from 3 to 1, I divide by 3. And whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 36 divided by 3. I'm going to do the long division for that. That means that there are 12 yards and 36 feet. Let's go ahead and try the next one. Start by filling in what do you know about 1 quart. How many pints are in 1 quart? Look at your notes. So you should have filled in 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. Now, to get from 1 to 2, what is your scale factor? Take a moment to think about this. If you said multiply by 2, you are correct. 5 times 2 is 10. My answer is 10 pints. Go ahead and pause here and try number 3 on your own. So go ahead and try number 3 on your own. Now that you've tried number 3 on your own, make sure that you pause the video if you needed to. I'm going to show you the answer to number 3. How were you able to do this on your own? Was it easy? Was it hard? If it was hard, I want you to do number 4 and 5 with me. If this was easy, you may go ahead and try the independent practice. So here's the answer for number 3. For quarts to gallons, I know that 1 gallon has 4 quarts. To get from 4 quarts to 1 gallon, I use a scale by dividing by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 44 divided by 4 is 11. That means my final answer is 11 gallons. If you would like to move on to the independent practice, go ahead and pause the video here, You can fast forward through my next two examples and do the independent practice on your own. There will be an answer key as soon as you hit play again, but make sure that you've tried all of these on your own because you will get a grade on your mastery check in active progress as soon as you finish and check your independent practice. If you'd like to stay with me and do another guided practice problem, I'm going to do questions 4 and 5 together with you if you would like that. So let's look at number 4. Start by figuring out the number of feet in a yard. This is a really difficult one. I know that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, but this is asking for inches. So now I have to figure out how many inches are in 3 feet. Well, I know there's 12 inches in a foot, so 12 plus 12 plus 12. Or 12 times 3, which is 36 inches. So this is a difficult one because it's not in your notes and you have to use some of your reasoning skills. So I'm going to write 36 inches is equal to 1 yard. Now, to get from 1 to 36, I have to multiply by 36. That means whatever I did to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to multiply 26 times 36. Do this with me. So that means it's 936 inches. Let's try one easier one here. Let's go from pounds to tons. So I know, based on my notes, that there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. To get from 2,000 to 1, I divide by 2,000. Now I need to do 24,000 divided by 2,000, and I'm just going to get rid of those zeros. I have 3 zeros here, I have 3 zeros here. That's really the same thing as saying 24 divided by 2, which I know is 12. So that means 12 tons is equal to 24,000 pounds. Go ahead and pause the video here as you begin to work on the independent practice. So pause the video here to complete your independent practice. Give yourself about 10 minutes. Ask for help if you need it from Miss Ahern or Miss Johnson. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the answers so you can check your work. After you're done checking your work, you're going to go straight into active progress and take the 3-question mastery check. It'll say mastery check for measurement. So pause the video here. Now that you're done with the independent practice, here are the answers. If you got 1 through 10 correct, you're on the right track to doing really well on this mastery check. Make sure you're always setting up your proportion and figuring out what is your scale factor. Now that you've completed this lesson, log on to active progress and select the measurement mastery check. This will be a part of your grade and your first grade coming back from winter break. Good luck. Show all your work. Have a great day.